Hello and welcome to the first round of 3 at the Play It Again Sports Jonesboro Open, powered by Prodigy. We're finally back in Arkansas. It's a couple weeks later than normal in the year. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb, and we're your 2 hotkeys.
Honk.
Yeah, a lot more foliage than we're used to seeing. A little bit better conditions than we've had in previous years. Really nice day to be on the course.
Yep, we're at DISC side of heaven, and it is just that. We get to open up as compared to last weekend at Champions Cup. We've got 8,572 feet to cover this year in 18 holes. This tournament's awesome because the tournament director rules. Look at that, $90K to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital since 2001.
Hole 9 is a par 5. It's an absolute must-get birdie. 55% of the field birdied it last year.
Thanks again to UDISC. We thank them every week. We mean it every time. They're the best. They give us all the stats that we can use during these rounds.
Katrina Allen, scramble percentage, 3rd in the field at nearly 50%, birdieing about a 1/3 of the holes, and 73% Circle 1X putting. That's 11th in the field.
Kristin Tattar in 2023 so far is first place in fairway hits, birdie rate, and scramble percentage. Man, that's 3 of my favorite things to be good at.
Same.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Kat Mertsch, Arkansas girl, Circle 1X putting. She's 77%. Parked 12% of the time, birdie rate 29%, so 5th, 4th, doing good stuff.
Yeah, she's got a lot of momentum after last week at Champions Cup. Speaking of momentum, Henderson came on the scene hot. Already in 2023, she's 7th in the field in Circle 1 in regulation. 9% of the holes she's played are parked. Unreal.
Caroline Newey, sponsored by Prodigy since we last saw her, I believe, in Houston.
Yeah, so this is a sponsoring event for her.
Hole 1 is a par 3, 385 feet, reachable by everyone because it does play slightly downhill. Don't yank it left or right and get a putt. You see a lot of women land in Circle 2. You do kind of have to throw flat for a while before it starts to go downhill, so nose angle is important.
We didn't have a whole lot of wind today, but there was a few times where you'd feel a little 10 to maybe 12 mile per hour gust. Mostly on the tee pad. I didn't have a lot of issues on some of the very protected greens at Jonesboro. At 385, this is a full power distance shot. It does have that nice downhill finish, so it allows you to get a lot of extra distance. Katrina getting all the way to Circle 1. A lot of players landing in that little ditch right before the green.
Kristin, of course, winning this event. A similar story to last event. She won by 10 strokes.
It's that one shot, man. It's just watching it fly through the air the way that it did. I remember throwing it, or even right now. Flew and it went forward, and it was just the most magnificent feeling I've ever felt. Honestly, without disc golf, I probably would not be here. I was in some situations that children should never have to go through, and adults should have been adults. My mother is a very strong woman, and she was going through some very hard things when I came into the world. There were some things happening before with her and my dad. He got a surgery, and he didn't take care of his leg, so it got an infection, and he had to amputate his leg. So my first memory of my father was him crying with 2 legs before he went and got it amputated, and then he was gone for a little bit. He worked with 1 leg, he built poles with 1 leg. He's pretty resilient, but he wasn't always kind all the time. They had to get a divorce in 2002, the year that I was born. So she divorced him legally, and they stayed together until I was about 9. And then the big separation happened. And then the court separated me and my brother. I remember getting called out of school. And I thought to myself, man, what kid gets called out of school to go talk to a counselor and a lawyer at the same time? You know, that just made me very sad. And I was the youngest too, and I was the only girl. So I spent a lot of time by myself. So I fell into like this sadness and anger. I had this anger at such a young age. And I wanted to go live with my dad because I loved him so much. And my mom knew that if I went to live with him, something was gonna break. When I was 14, I had thrown enough temper tantrums, and I fought my way to go live with my dad. So I put my mom through a really hard time because I didn't know. And then when I went to live with my dad, I think that was the absolute lowest that I've been. During that time, I stopped going to therapy. I was in therapy when I was living with my mom. I went from like a 3A school to a 7A, and it was so big, and I had no friends at that school. And I remember all the diversity there too. I enjoyed seeing all the different kinds of people, but no one really wanted me around. At this time, I really wanted to kill myself, and I tried to. They had to take all the bullets out of the house because I completely broke one night. And it was just a bad deal right there. But soon after that, we found disc golf. Disc golf was brought to us. The fact that disc golf just fell into my lap the way it did, quite a blessing. And to sprout up from that blessing into the moment of right now. I mean, I'm 21 years old. I feel like I'm one of the better players on tour. And I feel like I'm only gonna get better. So it's really just like, it's surreal. It's just so surreal. Disc golf has really saved me in an aspect.
Wow, Kat Mertsch really opening up and sharing some deep parts about her past. I didn't know a lot of that, and she's such a joyful person.
It's funny, she's one of the most wide open players on tour as well, as far as like being genuine and kind and open, and you just never know how much this sport can mean to someone. And I mean, I'm just so happy she shared her story with us and with everyone watching. You guys should feel privileged like I know I do right now.
It takes a lot of strength to talk about some hard stuff.
And now we're all rooting for Kat Mertsch.
If you weren't already.
We already were. I'm sure people saw her Macho Man Randy Savage interview in the press conference. If not, you can find that on the Disc Golf Network.
Kristin laying up after a short drive for a par. So like I said, Kristin won this event by 10 strokes last year. She shot a 10 under the first round, which was the best round of the weekend. Kat Mertsch tied for third last year with Ella Hansen. Caroline comes up short on the birdie putt. We have no statistics for her. I don't think she's played this one.
A really nice birdie putt from Catrina. And what a good way to start the round. Yeah, I listened to Caroline's press conference as well, and she mentioned how she loves being on tour. She's used to her Texas style, like a little bit more open golf courses, but she said that one of the most overwhelming things is having to learn a new course every week, and them all being very challenging and also very different because it has switched up quite a bit as we moved around. She said that's one of her major challenges is getting a little bit overwhelmed with having to form a new game plan every week.
Very good point.
Yeah, I thought about, wow, it's an advantage being able to come year after year and see these places. Katrina Allen starting out the round 1 under par on a distance driver hole. Hole 2 is a lot more, I guess, technical. The first shot, the gap we have to throw through is a lot tighter than we've ever seen it. We're usually here earlier. The trees are a little stickier. You want to land left and not push too far straight into those trees that the drone just flew by on the right. Your second shot is uphill. If you get far enough, you can see the pin. There is some out of bounds behind the basket that can come into play. And on the right side as well. This one is a birdieable hole, and everyone is wanting to get it.
You definitely want to go more left than it looks off the tee. You kind of think, oh, that's going to be sawed off, and then it's perfect. And that stake, that kind of striped stake that we saw Katrina blow 80 feet past is kind of a good marker of where you want to land there or farther.
Yeah, it's an excellent landing zone. There's out of bounds all the way down the left-hand side as well, but it doesn't really come into play because most of the hole we're playing on the other side of this line of trees that you see where these discs are landing.
Katrina won this event, I believe, in 2021. And that same year, she shot a 12 down in round 2. That's as far back as I researched, so could be the course record.
I feel like that is accurate.
Possibly real statistic for you. Kat Mertsch out there a little pinched on the right. She should have kind of an Anheuser backhand to the pin.
Caroline getting way down there as well. I like this landing zone because it's not too uphill, so you still feel pretty sure in your footing. Caroline did find a little bit of the side hill that you can get if you push too far deep.
What's nice is often we're dealing with muddier, slipperier conditions earlier in the year, and we did have some rain yesterday, but it's a little bit easier to attack this course than it has been in several years.
Yeah, the course is in prime condition. The grass is nice and short as well. The rough is still rough, but
They cleared out a lot of spots, though.
they sure did.
Kristin doing what she does best and parks it in the bullseye for a birdie.
Kat pushed a little bit straight. She has more of a sawed-off sidearm, looking for some ground play, and she doesn't quite get it, but she's up in circle 2 for her birdie putt. Catrina closest to the pin.
She's so far up there she can see the flag. Usually it's more of a blind shot. She just goes big hyzer. Perfect. And you want to get at least one of the first 3 holes because you know there are people who are going perfect 3 for 3. They're all reachable. Caroline looked a little nervy, maybe late release there. She's inside the circle, but definitely a tester putt for her par. Cat for birdie.
Oh my goodness.
High fives the basket, but doesn't stick.
37% of the field getting a birdie on this one, with 60% getting to circle 2 in regulation.
I'm having trouble thinking about facts because Kat kind of just rocked my world with her interview there.
I know.
I feel shook.
I do too. And I mean, everyone loves a hometown hero. But especially when disc golf is something that saved her life, it's so awesome to see her out here enjoying it and making it a career out of it.
And dancing and smiling and just being a good human. Mm-hmm. Kristin and Catrina with birdies back to the disc golf. Caroline going to take a bogey after missing that 29-foot putt. Cat with a par. And a smile. Haley King, she's 8 down through 12. Aria Castrita, 8 down through 16. Some hot scores.
Everyone making this look easy.
Yeah, again, it's playing a little bit easier just because less wind and less rain. Hole 3 is a par 3 reachable by everyone. It is a little bit uphill, so it plays a little farther than 310. There is out of bounds on the left, though I think they have pushed it to the road. It used to be inside of the tree line, so this one plays a little bit easier. Do you remember the wind? I think it was right to
It was
left?
a little bit heady,
okay,
if I remember correctly, but it wasn't super strong when my card came through.
Enough to just think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You usually see people kind of do what Catrina's doing here and throw out to the right, let it hyzer in. Ideally have a short putt like that.
Yep, right to left head. Looks like that's right. You can go big hyzer here. You can take a straight line if you want to as well. The ground doesn't get super skippy here, so you can rely on the disc to land pretty close to where you land it.
Kristin with a tournament fortress to match Catrina's shot.
43% of the field getting birdies on hole 3.
Oh, wow.
So Erika's not lying. Hole 2 and 3 are, you got to at least get one of them.
Yeah. Cat. Oh, looking for the ace.
Buzzing the basket.
That's that Champ Blow Thunderbird we talked about last weekend. Caroline with a D2 Air Pro. Getting it in the air, actually going long.
I forgot, too, that she's throwing all new discs.
Yeah, like I know she loved the Nuke and had some go-tos that were not Prodigy. So not only is she, oh wow, great putt, learning new courses every week, now she's doing with discs she's maybe never thrown before.
Yeah, she kind of flubbed that approach on the last hole, but that's like a hard disc to replace as your go-to approach disc.
Yeah.
We'll see how she deals with it as the round moves on. Nice birdie putt from Kristin. Catrina looking solid on the green as well already today.
And a star frame, folks.
It's hole 3 and people are already shredding.
Yeah, not your typical birdie or die course, but you do need to score out here. Haley King 9 down through 13.
Wow.
Whoa.
That is insane.
Disc golf keeps growing. At the Power Disc Golf Academy, we believe in adding power to the player to level up their game. That's why Paul Ulibarri, a top 50 ranked player, is taking the past 18 years of teaching disc golf and boiling it down into lessons across every subject. From driving, to putting, to drills, to practice, to mental game, and much more, all to give you the power to grow as a player. Grow your game with the Power Disc Golf Academy.
Hole 4. This is the 4th most difficult hole of the day. One of the first really challenging holes on this side of heaven course, and it's largely in part to this low ceiling tee shot. That tree on the right comes into play as well if you turn something over, and we had a little bit of a headwind here, so it was tough. You want to carry far, but you have to stay under that low ceiling, and in order to get the birdie, you have to get it nice and far past that low ceiling, so it's a really low linear shot. The second shot has out of bounds around behind the basket. There's some patches of OB on the right side and out of bounds all the way down the left side. So it's a big enough fairway, but it's definitely in your mind while you're throwing.
Yeah, and it's hard to execute this low ceiling tee shot, like Mad said. Katrina went inside of the tree.
Did it catch the tree, or was that just
maybe a little
bit of a
I think it was maybe just sawed off hyzer. It's possible it caught the tree. She's definitely much farther left, regardless of what actually happened. Who cares about the facts?
Yeah, I don't think she's far enough left to find that out of bounds yet.
Just awkward.
About halfway down the fairway, the out of bounds line becomes much more prominent. You can see the white stakes.
This is the line you want, but Kristin definitely with a little bit more height, bringing that limb into play, and honestly just kind of hoping to blast through, what she does. And once again, that stake is a fantastic place to land. Oh, Kat looked like she went just above the limb with her star strike and matches Kristin near that stake. You don't see a lot of people go under the limb and reach that distance marker that you're looking for. So there's definitely an element of like, I'm just going to go above it and see how far I get. Caroline, though.
Yeah, she gets some great skips on this little bit longer grass. Katrina with a funky stance out of the rough. She's just playing for par at this point.
Yeah, and she needs to be careful here. You can see her calling for it to stop. There's some patches of OB. She finds the left side OB. Several of the patches of trees in the middle are just like a circle of strange out of bounds. Like you can see to Caroline's right.
She gives it lots of room out wide right.
Oh, yeah.
Gives herself a putt for birdie. Kristin with a nice hyzer shot into the green.
How far do you think that is? Like 3?
I would say 300.
Yeah.
And blind,
Ooh.
It looked like, from her angle. She still buzzes the basket.
Casually.
The out of bounds comes up close behind this basket.
Yeah, you definitely want to leave it more right than left. Because, yep, Kat Mertsch finding the out of bounds with the skip.
Katrina throwing her 4th shot.
The right side there really isn't out of bounds other than those tree circles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good pitch up from Katrina. She's looking at her first bogey of the round, though.
There is a big tree that has some low-hanging branches that can make putting difficult from circle 2, but Kristin is deep.
And low for her birdie. Kat coming back for her par. You can tell she's inside the circle, even though she's out of bounds. Maybe like 26 feet or so. Cashes.
Comfortable.
Bouncy.
Caroline for her birdie.
Oh, dirty
Holy-
spit through.
That was so nasty.
Is this the same Prodigy with like the net structure in them? Mm-hmm. Wow, it's hard to spit through those.
Yeah, especially through the middle like that.
Yeah.
11% of the field getting birdies. That's only 5 on the day. You can see all the trouble you can get in. I would say this hole has probably the most OB out of any of them, right? Maybe hole 18?
Top 3.
Yeah. Katrina and Kristin tied at 2 under par on our lead card or feature card. Haley King 11 down. Double digits.
I think with some bogeys even, if I remember. Wow, hole 5 is you can lay up or you can attack. You can see this out of bounds wraps on the right side. We're passing the drop zone. If any of your tee shot lands out of bounds, there's this weird little inlet of OB that you need to cross if you're attacking. It's definitely gettable, but you need a ton of power to comfortably get across and have a putt.
Yeah.
I know it says 345, but it's kind of a low line straight 345.
A little bit downhill, but you can't really feel that.
Yeah, but you can't just hyzer. It's tough to flex. You just need to go straight.
So yeah, there's some trees on the right-hand side that are in out of bounds that take away the hyzer line, unless you can throw like 450 feet. Like Erika said, that straight shot's really the only way, and then you have to toy with that middle tree and flipping a disc over into the OB pond.
So Cat working the flex with that Champ Glow Thunderbird. Perfect. Let's see it again.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to commit to that. You see a lot of people who try that shot end up flipping it too much. I mean, that was
And she
kind of an ace run.
Yeah, this is her second ace run within inches of the basket. She's feeling it.
Caroline going for it with her D2 Air Pro, and this is kind of what I was talking about, where it flirts with those trees on the right side and is a bit overturned. Really hard to do what Cat Mertsch just did.
Yeah. Caroline about 20 feet deep of the pin, but right and in the pond.
Her and Kristin will both proceed to that drop zone. Doesn't matter where they went out of bounds. And it's an automatic bogey from there.
Katrina heading straight for those out of bounds trees, but she gets a friendly little kick.
Little skip off the tee pad. She's putting for birdie.
This is about, I remember, like 200 feet, maybe just under.
Yeah, maybe just under. Always surprises me how comfortable Kristin Tattar is with a forehand, because you look at that shot and you think, yeah, easy backhand hyzer, whereas the forehand is kind of finishing towards OB. Just a testament to how comfortable she is with that shot. Caroline trying to save the 3. Beautiful upshot. Yes, Cat.
Yes, nice birdie. Only 11% of the field, or 17% of the field getting that birdie. That's 8 competitors out of 48.
Katrina does it too. Wow.
I feel like that's more people birdieing this hole than we've ever seen in years past.
Everyone's
no
getting
surprise.
better and better, thrown farther and farther. We're just watching with more and more tears in our eyes. No, it's, as we say, very cool to be a part of and just see how fast the field's growing.
It's such a rapid escalation in the last 2 years. It's absolutely mind-blowing. I feel like I've never seen anything like this in any sport ever.
Yeah. Some people like Aria Castrita, Stacy Ronsley, like people who are newer to the game that you might not know, who've only been touring for a couple years tops on the leaderboard. Hole 6.
It's 315 feet, very steeply downhill, carrying this water to this little U-shaped island hole. The island's pretty big. It feels like a nice safe shot, but it's very easy to accidentally flip your disc or hyzer out a little bit early, or just come up barely short and stick it in the mud. There's a drop zone on this side of the water. It's only about 150 feet to the basket from there. No wind today really on this hole that I felt. If anything, just a teeny bit of tailwind.
When I came through, it was kind of left to right. Cat Mertsch with a star J.
This plate is
it doesn't look windy at all, you're right.
Yeah, this plate is the third most difficult hole of the day, only because birdie or bogey here.
Yeah.
There's not really a way to save your par if you go out of bounds. Also, for whatever reason, this island, because of how steep the green is, sometimes you see a lot of people three-putting. I feel like I see it all the time. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but...
Katrina taking my preferred line, kind of throwing it at the right side, letting it hyzer in. Kristin with the sidearm, which is a really smart way, the way the hillside is shaped, just the general shape of the hole. It's probably the safest play if you have it.
A little surprised Caroline's not using that tool.
She's trying to go M3 here. Doesn't quite find its way back into bounds. And once again, a drop zone that's pretty much an automatic bogey, but honestly, you can mess this one up and it can go badly. Not if you're Caroline, though.
41% of the field taking a birdie here, 52 taking a bogey or worse with only 7% pars.
Wow.
So weird.
Wow, great putt from Katrina.
That's a bit of a death putt.
Not a par yet on Katrina's scorecard. Kristin with the more preferable putt coming uphill, not looking at the water.
Kristin also taking over the Sake Bomb Foundation Birdie Fund as Ricky takes another tournament off. So every birdie she gets, I believe $25 goes to the Sake Bomb Foundation.
Cool. Cat with another birdie to go 3 down. Caroline with a bogey to go 2 up. Kristin at 2 down. Katrina 4 down. What a putt.
Love seeing Aria Castrita climbing up this leaderboard. She's from Texas. Her and her sister both absolutely shred at disc golf.
Both sisters. Hole 7 is a par 4, 545 feet. This left side has been cleared out as the years have gone on, so you see everyone taking the same flight as the drone here. Once you get to that big tree, there's probably only about 225 feet left tops. So you see forehands, you see backhands. They've cleared out the right side a little bit. There used to be a fence that kind of wrapped all the way around on the right side, and now it's just kind of partially there. So it kind of opened up the backhand shot. It used to be more of a must, I don't know,
You
forehand.
have to come in left.
Yeah.
It definitely leaves some room for being lucky on that right side. It still is kind of a poke and hope, though. There's not really one defined gap. Unless you come in low and straight at the basket, left side is the way.
Yeah, there is one gap, but it's definitely more preferable to come in on the left. Cat Mertsch finding that tree that you never want to find. Katrina in an ideal spot.
This usually plays as one of the easiest holes at the tournament. This is the 3rd easiest hole today.
Something like 5 years ago, whenever I first played this tournament, this was all really tall grass, and the play was to go to the right of this big tree, and it was really difficult to birdie. But now it's become easy. The course looks amazing, too, and the work they've done and the maintenance they've done on the course is really appreciated.
Yeah, everything's so much more lush. We've seen snow at this event before, so it's cool to be here when the trees have leaves on them. Even the poison ivy is more in bloom than I've ever seen.
Yeah. What a line. Cat Mertsch giving herself a look. She went high through that little window. She's dealing with that fence I was talking about so eloquently earlier.
Over half the field birdieing this hole, 52%.
Aw.
Man.
Caroline swings it too far out to the left and drops into kind of an awkward spot. We don't really see that many people land in that. And I thought Katrina was going to do it too. She kind of tags those bushes and it's going to land in circle 2. Usually you see people a little closer. This is a huge drive from Kristin. I didn't realize quite how far she was. Looking at a straight chip shot, hyzer forehand.
And right into the bullseye.
Yeah. That was, what, 160 60 feet, maybe something like that.
Caroline in some course rough that you don't necessarily find normally, but she gets out effectively and she'll give herself a putt for par. There was a lot of murmurs in the press conference about how the lack of OB out on this course. I'm wondering if we should savor it this year, because in years in the future we might see a lot more artificial OB. But I know the tournament.
Paul Macbeth.
I think the tournament director is adamantly against it.
I'm a fan of just letting us play the course, putting OB where you need it. Catrina hits the flagpole on her birdie. She's going to look at her first par of the round.
Caroline looking super solid with her new putters.
Let's see, what are her new putters? PA3 300 soft. Our feature card not quite finding as many birdies as you would think on this hole.
I could see this one being a star frame any day on a lead card. Katrina finding her first par of the day.
Haley slips back to 10 under par. Stacy Ronsley was on my card. She was low-key shredding at a 6 down through, I think, 13 it said.
Hole 8 at 324 feet. It plays a little bit longer only because of the shot shape. It is downhill, but you can't quite feel it because it goes right back uphill just before the green. I like a big backhand turnover. There's lots of room on the left side to use, but you cannot turn it over early because being in those that tree line on the right side makes it really tough to get up and down unless you get lucky and penetrate all the way into the tree line. It's a little bit more open inside than it is right on the edges. If you have a distance sidearm, that is the play.
This one was a headwind when I came through, which I'm always a little nervous to throw a forehand into, but if you're going to make a mistake, definitely be left. Or just get in the circle, because you're Kristin Tattar.
Yeah, we had a pretty strong headwind coming through. Mine just throllered.
Yeah, I saw some crazy stuff. It doesn't look too bad right now, though. Kat finding that little grove of trees there, which, again, is much more manageable than it was several years ago. They've cleared it out, but it's still not easy to scramble from there.
Katrina taking a much lower line with the backhand.
I love it.
Me too, but it comes in a little early. She's going to have to do kind of a weird little patent pending step out turnover approach.
I think she had the speed and the angle. It just needed to be on a wider line.
Caroline not quite getting enough on her sidearm. Maybe she'll have a little gap in those trees.
It got most of the way through. She wouldn't even have a putt there. Though that one limb is a disaster.
No.
Oh, whoa.
Did you hear Kat say, whoa?
Kat just blasts out of there.
Yeah, she'll have a bit of a tester comeback putt on the elevated pin. Also, this green is very steeply sloped, so if you catch that little Euro platform, you can easily roll down the hill.
Yeah, we've seen some crazy rolls here in the past.
Wow.
Kristin wants no part of it. Wow, so casual with her straddle putt. Just making it look easy. You can kind of see the uphill as she walks away there. Like, it took a lot of power to do that putt.
Caroline not having many options. She just lays up. Just a little short on her par save.
Yep, Kat gonna get her first bogey of the round.
Only 20% of the field's bogeys, only 9% with birdies. That's 4 birdies on the day. Haley King, Kristin Tattar, Holland Hanley, and Leah Sinajini getting 2s. Leah is a lefty.
This hole's sneakily hard. Like, it shouldn't be, but it always is.
Yep, it's really, really tough to get to, for sure. I think we'll see more forehand dominant people getting that in the days to come.
Wrapping up with hole 9, par 5 that I believe we've seen eagled in the past. The tunnel shot off the tee is definitely a little tighter than normal. First shot, you're trying to land as close to this tree as possible distance-wise. You're trying to get around the corner on your second shot and give yourself a look at the pin for a little forehand chip shot. It's kind of, yeah, it's a musket. I believe this is the statistic that we saw. It's the most birdied hole of the day at about 55%.
Yeah, it played as the easiest hole of the day. Only one bogey on the day.
And this was mostly headwind-ish as well.
Yeah, this is one where it feels like a bogey if you get a par.
Yeah.
Even though it is challenging to get the 4. It's like a bit of a tweener, but in a good way.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Mm-hmm. Catrina with a really nice turn before she has some fade at the end. This landing zone is a little tricky depending on where you are. Sometimes you have a really steep uphill run up. Sometimes you find a flat spot. Sometimes there's little divots.
Do you like landing right or left better?
I like landing left better because I think right you start bringing that big tree into the play, and then you have to saw off your next shot and not get as much distance.
Potentially. Like where Caroline landed, you could go hyzer right around the tree, or there is a flex shot, but it's risky and brings the corner into play.
I love this shot from Kat. Right at the tree, finishing left, she'll be in the perfect spot.
That is blistered.
Yeah, smoked.
It was a metal flake katana. All right, so Caroline going around the tree.
And it's a fine play if you are comfortable with a distant sidearm here because it makes the backhand very tough.
Right, instead of like a mid-range or even an overstable putter chip shot, she's going to have to at least go mid-range, I'd imagine. Maybe even fairway driver.
And it almost has to be a forehand as well. The backhand line does not work from over there.
Yeah, you can see Kristin taking the inside route, lands, at least 80 feet closer, probably farther. Catrina with a really great look at it here.
Yep. Also, you can see her hyzering as soon as she crests the hill. Even blast past Kristin's shot. She's got to be so close.
Is she getting close to circle 2 even?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And what a freaking drive.
Unreal.
Kat Mertsch way up there. She is thinking about an eagle over here. She's about 50 feet away.
Yeah, she goes past the basket.
Wow.
You can see Caroline lining up that sidearm. She's got to come in sharp to the green, but it is sloping downhill from left to right, so she needs to come in soft. Unfortunately,
too soft.
Yeah, she gets tangled up in that tree branch, and that is pretty classic on this hole.
Yeah, that's a better mistake than blasting past it and finding there's some water back there and some really just ugly spots that you don't want to find.
Kristin's got to be the queen of circle 1 in regulation.
I mean, probably bullseye hits.
Yeah.
Catrina decides to just lay up for birdie.
Caroline also has to lay up to get out of there. She's finding some rough today that we've all experienced.
Kat Mertsch for eagle. Oh. I wanted it. I like that she held the pose the entire time. Settling for birdie. 3 down on the front 9 for Kat Mertsch. Were there any eagles today?
Nope. Just 57% birdies. I mean, just only.
I bet we'll see at least one eagle before the weekend's out.
Totally agree.
Kristin 5 down with a bogey on her front 9.
Wow.
Catrina, similar story. Actually, the same story. Just a little jumbled. All right, Haley King, 11 down through 17. Aria Castrita in the clubhouse, 9 down. Stacey Ronsley, 7 down through 15.
I feel like this is Aria's
6 down.
Yeah, I feel like this is Aria's first time at this course too, so that's really impressive. Macy Vela Diaz, 5 down through 16. She's got the backhand and the sidearm. And that's Allie Smith, the same story. We're going to see the people in the top that have those distance backhands and sidearms. They're so important here.
All the way to 20th place is under par.
Yeah. Wow. That's different than in the past for sure. And we do have some rain in the forecast tomorrow, but before that we have 9 more holes, and the back 9 is more exciting and tighter fairways than ever. So hope you guys are enjoying the front 9 at the DISC side of heaven. We love coming and playing here with no out of bounds. It's awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the two Huckies.
Honk.